Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
Sophie Cunningham didn't mince words during a live television appearance, delivering a message that put the Indiana Fever president directly in the spotlight. Her blunt remarks quickly grabbed attention across the WNBA, and the reaction inside the organization was far bigger than anyone expected. If you're enjoying this coverage, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Surprisingly, over 83% of the people who watch our videos haven't subscribed yet. It only takes a moment, costs nothing, and it helps the channel grow more than you might think. If you've already subscribed, thank you. We truly appreciate your support. Now, let's get into what happened.
Oh, this game is boring. It's not good basketball. Then all of a sudden, everything got spicy. Everything got negative. We need to talk about it. You guys, this is my live reaction.
But this goes far beyond a single viral moment. What started as one headline has turned into a much bigger controversy, raising serious questions about the silence surrounding the situation and the unexpected fallout that followed. We'll break down the evidence, the impact, and every key detail that's fueling this story.
But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
You guys played at Iowa.
What was supposed to be a routine post-game interview quickly turned into one of the most talked about moments of the season. There was no expectation of controversy, just another player answering questions before heading to the locker room. Then, in a matter of seconds, Sophie Cunningham said something that immediately changed the conversation. She stated, "If you don't think Caitlin Clark is the face of the league, you're crazy." That wasn't just a memorable quote. It was a bold statement that sent shockwaves across the WNBA. There was no hesitation, no carefully crafted response, just a direct opinion that instantly sparked debate. From that moment on, the story was about much more than basketball. Fans, analysts, and former players began taking sides, turning the discussion into one of the biggest talking points in the league. Many viewed Cunningham's comments as a direct challenge to those who have downplayed Clark's impact, while others saw them as criticism of league leadership for avoiding the conversation altogether. Within minutes, social media exploded. Clips spread rapidly across TikTok, discussions dominated X, and Instagram filled with reaction videos, memes, and fan tributes. Supporters praised Cunningham for speaking openly, with many describing her as someone willing to defend her teammate when others stayed quiet. What made the moment stand out wasn't just the headline, it was how genuine it felt. Instead of delivering a carefully rehearsed answer, Cunningham spoke with conviction, making it clear she believed what she was saying. To many fans, she wasn't simply defending Caitlin Clark, she was standing beside her during one of the league's most polarizing debates. Meanwhile, attention quickly shifted toward the Indiana Fever organization. As Cunningham's remarks continued making headlines, many began waiting to see whether team leadership would respond or allow the discussion to keep growing on its own. The pressure surrounding the organization only intensified as the story gained momentum. Before we break down everything that happened next, don't forget to like this video if you think this debate deserves more attention. Every like helps this story reach more fans. So let's keep the conversation going.
I got her, but at the very end, and I'm not saying this is what caused it, but she dipped a little bit.
Yeah.
Like but she did dip. And then right when I saw, I was like, oh shit, like my bad. Not really my bad. And then they both came at me. I was like, fuck it, come.
Did you get fined for that?
Yeah, like $900,
Oh.
which like our fines are a joke.
The coolest part about that fight is that your face.
Everyone remembers the matchup, Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. It was another game where Caitlin Clark found herself on the receiving end of hard physical play, this time involving JC Sheldon. By then, fans had seen similar moments throughout the season, and frustration had been building with every game. Then, everything changed in an instant. Instead of standing by and waiting for the officials to step in, Sophie Cunningham took matters into her own hands. She immediately confronted Sheldon, making it clear that Clark wasn't going to be left unprotected. It wasn't just a reaction to one play, it was a statement that sent a message to everyone on the court. The arena erupted. Broadcasters struggled to keep up with what had just unfolded, and the referees quickly assessed Cunningham a fine and penalties for her actions. But despite the consequences, many fans believed Sophie had made her point loud and clear. Within minutes, clips of the confrontation spread across social media. Slow-motion replays flooded X, TikTok, and Instagram as fans debated whether Cunningham had crossed the line or simply defended her teammate. One theme appeared over and over again. Many supporters praised her for standing up for Caitlin Clark. The bigger story, though, wasn't just the viral clip. It was what the moment represented. After months of physical play directed at Clark, many fans felt Cunningham's response reflected the growing frustration inside and outside the Indiana Fever organization. Whether people agreed with her actions or not, the incident became a symbol of teammates standing up for one another. From that point forward, the conversation shifted beyond a single game. It became about accountability, protection, and how teams respond when emotions boil over during a highly competitive season. The Fever suddenly looked more united, with players showing they were willing to back each other when tensions reached their highest point. That moment drew a clear line. It wasn't just another regular season highlight, it became one of the defining conversations of the year, reinforcing the importance of teammates supporting each other when the pressure is at its greatest.
People are doing this. Two Caitlin Clark teammates weren't jumping in there. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom!
Wow.
JC Sheldon, that's cute. You want to poke her in the eye, then push her into a boom, Mabry thing? Go ahead. I'll take a take foul, and you'll eat the deck a little bit here. And then we'll get out. I love it. I know people aren't going to like this. I like the Connecticut team doing what they did as well.
Yeah.
In San Francisco tomorrow, you're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player. So.
Long before the confrontation made headlines, tensions had been building behind the scenes. Sophie Cunningham's reaction didn't come out of nowhere. From the perspective of many fans and commentators, it was the result of weeks and months of watching Caitlin Clark absorb hard contact and constant physical play. To those who supported Clark, it wasn't about a single incident. They believed there was a pattern developing throughout the season. Every extra bump after the whistle, every overly physical possession, and every heated exchange only added to the growing frustration. Whether those moments were intentional or simply part of a physical game became one of the league's biggest debates. Cunningham appeared to have reached her limit after seeing Clark take another hard hit. Instead of staying on the sidelines, she chose to respond in a way that immediately captured the attention of the entire basketball world. It wasn't viewed by many as a random emotional outburst. It was seen as the breaking point after months of mounting tension. When the team returned to the locker room, many believed the atmosphere had changed. The conversation was no longer about pretending everything was normal. The incident had forced players, fans, and media members to confront a question that had been growing all season. How should teammates respond when they feel one of their own is repeatedly targeted? From that moment, the discussion became much bigger than one foul or one game. It sparked conversations about leadership, accountability, and the responsibility teams have to protect their players during intense competition. Neutral opinions became harder to find as fans across the league debated where they stood. At the same time, some critics questioned whether the Indiana Fever organization should have spoken more publicly about the physical treatment Clark had been receiving. While leadership largely avoided fueling the controversy, Cunningham's actions ensured the conversation wouldn't simply fade away. For many supporters, that became the lasting image of the moment. They saw a teammate who was willing to step into a difficult situation and stand beside one of the league's biggest stars when emotions were running at their highest. Whether people agreed with her approach or not, the incident left a lasting impression and became one of the defining storylines of the season.
But when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times.
As Caitlin Clark's popularity continued driving record-breaking attention, television ratings, and merchandise sales, many fans began asking a different question. If she's such a major part of the league's success, why do they believe she isn't receiving the same level of protection on the court? Sophie Cunningham wasn't afraid to address that debate head-on. Rather than offering a carefully worded response, she openly questioned what she viewed as an inconsistent standard. Cunningham pointed to the physical treatment Clark had endured and suggested that similar situations involving other players might have been handled differently. Her comments quickly shifted the conversation from one controversial play to a broader discussion about officiating and accountability. She also challenged the perception that the league fully supports its biggest stars. To many viewers, Cunningham's message was straightforward. If a player is helping grow the league through record viewership, sold-out arenas, and increased fan interest, then that player should also receive consistent protection when games become overly physical. Her remarks spread rapidly across social media. Clips of the interview were shared millions of times as fans debated whether she had simply voiced what many people were already thinking. Supporters praised her honesty, while critics argued that she had gone too far. Either way, the interview became one of the most discussed moments of the season. For many fans, Cunningham's comments sounded less like a routine post-game interview and more like a direct challenge to the way the situation had been handled. She positioned herself as someone willing to speak publicly about issues others preferred to avoid, making her one of the most talked-about voices in the league. Meanwhile, attention turned toward the Indiana Fever organization and the WNBA itself. As the controversy grew, many observers waited to see whether league officials or team leadership would respond. The lack of immediate public statements only fueled further debate across sports media and online platforms. At its core, Cunningham's message centered on one larger issue. If the league celebrates players for bringing in new fans, higher ratings, and greater revenue, then many believe those same players deserve consistent protection and accountability on the court. Her comments forced that conversation into the spotlight, leaving fans, media members, and league officials to respond to a debate that was no longer easy to ignore.
You guys, you can hear it in the video right here. The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, "Sophie, Sophie." Sophie's jersey is going to sell out tonight. She's going to be in the All-Star game tonight just from this one play because she was standing on business. It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. And how egregious the referees were and how they were not protecting players, and they especially weren't protecting the #1 player in this league, the biggest draw in this league, which is Caitlin.
Almost overnight, Sophie Cunningham became one of the most talked about figures in the WNBA. To many fans, she wasn't just another player anymore, she was someone willing to say what others wouldn't. Her outspoken comments and actions quickly turned her into a central figure in one of the league's biggest debates. Social media exploded. Videos highlighting Caitlin Clark's hard fouls and physical treatment spread rapidly across TikTok, X, and Instagram, with many fans arguing that the level of contact she faced had gone too far. Edited clips featuring Cunningham's passionate remarks gained millions of views as the conversation continued to grow. The public response was impossible to ignore. Fans flooded social media with messages of support, demand for Cunningham merchandise increased, and countless posts praised her for standing up for her teammate. Many people who had never closely followed the WNBA suddenly found themselves paying attention because of the controversy surrounding the league. While the discussion intensified online, many observers felt the official responses remained measured and focused on general league values such as sportsmanship and respect for opponents. For some fans, that wasn't enough. They wanted a more direct acknowledgement of the concerns surrounding Caitlin Clark and the increasingly physical style of play she had experienced throughout the season. As a result, the debate grew beyond officiating or a single game. It became a larger conversation about player safety, leadership, and how the league responds when one of its biggest stars becomes the center of repeated controversy. Supporters argued that failing to address those concerns risked frustrating the very fan base that had fueled the WNBA's recent surge in popularity. Whether people agreed with Cunningham's approach or not, one thing was undeniable. She had sparked a conversation that extended far beyond basketball. Fans, analysts, and former players all weighed in, ensuring the topic remained in the headlines long after the final buzzer. Now it's your turn to join the discussion. Do you think Sophie Cunningham is the only player willing to speak openly about these issues, or do you expect others around the league to do the same? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is far from over.
Indiana Fever fans, because you guys came in so strong and were doing exactly what fans need to do. They were booing these players every time they touched the ball. They were getting active. They were getting after it. I'm surprised the WNBA hasn't launched an investigation yet, honestly. But the Connecticut Sun started to get embarrassed, and that is not a good place to be. That's actually a dangerous place to be when you're on the court. And so I was worried that things are going to get even more physical, because when a team feels like they have nothing to lose, sometimes they start to get dirty, they start to get extra physical. And this is not only something that...
At that point, the conversation had grown far beyond Caitlin Clark alone. Sophie Cunningham's comments sparked a much larger debate about the direction of the WNBA, the way star players are treated, and whether the league was fully embracing the unprecedented attention it had received. To many supporters, Cunningham wasn't simply defending a teammate. They believed she was giving voice to frustrations that had been building throughout the season. Fans questioned why a player who had helped attract record television audiences, sold out arenas, and new followers to the sport continued to be at the center of so many physical and controversial moments. The discussion also expanded to the culture within the league. Some fans argued that Clark's rapid rise had been met with resistance from certain players, while others viewed the physical play as nothing more than the intensity that comes with professional basketball. Regardless of which side people supported, the debate showed no signs of slowing down. One of Cunningham's most memorable points resonated with many viewers. "This is what we've always wanted. Why are we upset now that it's finally happening?" For many fans, that question captured the heart of the controversy. If the league had spent years trying to grow its audience, why had the arrival of unprecedented attention created so much division? It became one of the most widely discussed themes surrounding the WNBA season. As the debate intensified, many people looked toward league officials and team leadership for answers. Some felt the public response had been too cautious, while others believed avoiding further controversy was the right approach. Either way, the silence became part of the story, allowing Cunningham's comments to remain at the center of the conversation. Whether she intended it or not, Cunningham emerged as one of the league's most outspoken voices. She wasn't trying to become the face of the debate, but by speaking openly when many others stayed quiet, she became a focal point for fans who wanted more transparency and accountability. In the end, this story became about more than one player or one game. It raised bigger questions about leadership, player protection, league growth, and how the WNBA will navigate its new era of unprecedented popularity. Caitlin Clark helped bring millions of new eyes to women's basketball, and Sophie Cunningham's comments ensured that the conversations surrounding that growth would be impossible to ignore. What do you think? Did Sophie Cunningham say what many people were already thinking? Or do you believe the reaction has been overblown? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.